Hello, everybody.
All right, Mr. Lockhart, go ahead. All right, Salvador Cortez, 4 cases, 1A0429437. Hello, Mr. Cortez.
Hi, good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. 3801-66680, 3801-29292, and 3801-33091. 3 of them look to be on for pretrial. We do have one arraignment case that's much older. I'm not sure how that snuck by us before, but we'll have to review that. So I guess let's do the arraignment case first. PC was established on that, looks like way back in 2021. And then the warrant has simply been outstanding for 3 years. So, Mr. Lockhart, are you ready on arraignment on that one?
Yes, Your Honor. We did go over rights. We waive a formal reading of those rights, and we just asked to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf.
All right, Mr. Cortez, just on that one case, do you have any questions about your rights or the charges, sir?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll waive the formal reading. A not guilty plea is entered on your behalf on the 1A cause number. And with that, I guess, Mr. Kilfoyle, if you just want to address the conditions on all 4 of them.
Yeah, I can just do that, Your Honor. I can tell the court right now the defendant still has 4 active warrants. It looks like they're out of Ferndale municipal driving cases is what it looks like, as well as this looks like a Burlington or Blaine municipal.
Yeah, it's like Blaine.
So at this time, Your Honor, the city is going to be asking for $1,000 cash or court-approved performance bond. I would note that these cases are all older. The most recent is from January 18th of 2023, so already over a year old, but we have an assault in the 4th degree, domestic violence, malicious mischief in the 3rd degree, domestic violence, another A4 domestic violence, and interfering with reporting domestic violence. So I think $1,000 cash court-approved performance bond per case is appropriate at this time. And I would just ask for any of the prior imposed conditions be reimposed at this time. I do note that on at least one of these matters, it does look like a GPS order had been previously ordered on the 292, as well as the 680. It looks like it might be on the 091 as well. So that's 3 out of the 4. The arraignment that we just did is a driving license suspended. I don't think we need to add that GPS order to that case.
Okay.
However, I think the $1,000 cash court-approved performance bond for that matter, considering the number of driving-related offenses the defendant has both pending as well as convictions for, I think it is appropriate.
Okay. All right, Mr. Lockhart, go ahead.
And Your Honor, Mr. Cortez does have a job lined up when he is able to get out. Unfortunately, there was a number of FTAs just due to him having to take care of children. Unfortunately, the mother is no longer in the picture. It looks like a number of these, well, at least the older matter for arraignment was definitely one that was set over from, looks like COVID, and looks like my office was actually appointed because of that. Unfortunately, we withdrew after the year, just without any, any indication of contact or anything. As for the remaining matters, we would just be asking for effectively nominal amount of bail. I don't believe he's in a position to be able to post the $2,000 cash for the Superior Courts. And I can definitely let our office know that we can see if we can get appointed on the Blaine as well.
Okay. All right. Well, a couple of things to consider. I'm looking at the docket from the previous cases. It looks like the 3 that were in pretrial status, so not the driving charge, but the 3 other cases, 2 of them were set at $500, 1 was set at $250. So what we've had since then is obviously a failure to appear. It looks like, I'm going to double check the history, but I think I saw a new no contact order violation conviction, unless I misread that.
That is correct, Your Honor. That looks like that's out of Everett, or not Everett, excuse me, but I think that's out of Snohomish County, the district court down there, Southern District, so that would be Linwood area. And then there's a no charges filed criminal case out of the Evergreen District Court, which most likely means that's going to be a felony referral.
I think based on that, I mean, we have 3 of these cases are domestic violence offenses alleged. We have a subsequent domestic violence conviction for a protection order violation. All of these were in warrant status. I show those active warrants out of Ferndale, Blaine. The Superior Court case was in warrant status. The court does find that Mr. Cortez has violated the conditions of pretrial release. I understand he's held on the high bail out of Superior Court, but I feel at this point, I mean, an increase is really the only appropriate way to go because there's been all these violations. So the two cases that were set at 500, I will set at 1,000. The one case that was set at 250, I'll set at 500. So I'm going to find out the cause number real quick. I believe the 091 was the 250. Yeah, it was. So 091, I'm going to set at 500. And then the 292 and 680 will be 1,000 as the city requested. On the driving charge, however, that one, I understand Mr. Cortez has a lot of some driving history, but it is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just, it's a D2, okay? I'll set it at 250 on the D2, so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That'll be the
Thank you,
order.
Your Honor.
And then all previously imposed conditions remain in place. All right, so Mr. Cortez, if the bail is posted here and in Superior Court, you'd have to report to Whatcom County District Court probation immediately upon your release. Continue with the pretrial supervision that was previously ordered. The active GPS bracelet would be attached prior to any release. That is through FDS. That is at no cost to you since it is on a pretrial status at this point. I am going to find you eligible for counsel on all of these. We will get you an attorney on board. Be one more second with the order, Mr. Cortez, and then we'll review it all together here. Mr. Kilfoyle, you said that all three of the old case numbers had the active GPS?
Yes, Your Honor. That's a note I have back from January 20th of 2023. There was an in-custody arraignment where the defendant had pled guilty.
Interesting, because yeah, now that I'm looking at it, usually it's listed in the docket here, and I don't see anything.
My apologies, Your Honor. It looks like there's a
Was it
slash next to
requested
the
and,
GPS, so it was there was no GPS ordered at that time.
Okay, I am finding that that is at this point appropriate. So, Mr. Kilfoyle, if you don't mind just throwing up that order.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Cortez, we're going to set a couple of court dates here. One will be in custody, one will be out. The in custody date will be 2 weeks from today, which is June 3rd at 8:30 in the morning. And the out of custody, July 11th, you said for DV? All right, July 11th at 1:30 in the afternoon. All right, the conditions, just to be clear, I'm just reiterating the conditions that were already ordered. Appear timely for any scheduled court hearings, have no new criminal law violations. As to the driving charge, do not drive without a valid license and proof of insurance. Abide by all active no contact or anti-harassment orders, and abide by the GPS order. The GPS order basically prohibits you from going within 1,000 feet of a particular address. It'll be on the order, but I don't want to read the address into the record here. And FDS, that's the company that runs the bracelet program. Again, that's at no cost to you, Mr. Cortez, but they would attach the bracelet prior to any release from custody, and it just ensures you don't go within 1,000 feet of that address. Do you have any questions, Mr. Cortez, about how that works?
No, I did have one question at the end though.
Sure. All right. I think actually we're there. Go ahead, Mr. Cortez. What's your question?
So, I don't know if I just heard that there was a pending felony warrant. I don't know what that was for.
I think it maybe was served. You had, I'm looking at the jail roster right now, Mr. Cortez. It says
Right.
burglary second degree, Whatcom County
right.
Superior Court, $20,000
Is it-
bond or $2,000 cash.
Yeah, I heard evergreen. I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure. I don't see anything out of, oh, Evergreen, was that the one out of,
Yeah, it's the Snohomish.
that's the Snohomish County.
Yeah.
So it's not a warrant out of that jurisdiction. That's the conviction, or rather it says no charges filed. So that's the one that you said is pending, Mr. Kilfoyle.
Correct, Your Honor. If you go over just one line, it says the dismissal reason is filed directly to Superior Court. So
Oh, yeah.
that's their way of saying that it was a felony referral that is in the process of being moved up. So there will be charges coming. I don't know when that will be, but that's usually their procedure.
All right, so unfortunately,
what
Mr.
is-
Cortez, that's about all the information we have on that one, but it looks like there might be charges filed in Snohomish County Superior Court.
Can I have any information on what those are? Or?
We don't have anything more than that. Our docket just says filed direct, no charges filed in district court down there, but it says, there's a docket note that says filed directly into Superior Court.
And
So,
sorry to interrupt, Your Honor. I would just clarify for the defendant's sake that he's not being held on that. The felony he is being held on is that burglary in the second degree out of Whatcom Superior Court.
Okay, because I'm just confused. I just got transferred from Snohomish County, so I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know why I'm being charged with a felony, but okay.
Okay. Well, we don't have any more information on that right now. What I have done, sir, is found you eligible for counsel. So if there's any questions that come up, your attorney would be the best person to ask about that. They'll probably be able to get more
Okay.
information
Thank you.
than I will. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead then and sign off on the active GPS order. Thank you for filling that out, Mr. Kilfoyle. And if I could just get signatures via Zoom on that, Mr. Lockhart.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Cortez, I think that does cover it all. Do you have any other questions, sir?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, thanks, Mr. Cortez. You're good to go. All right, Mr. Lackey, are you ready to go?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Matters of Jennifer Block.
That's her, Jennifer Black.
We have 3 cases, 4A0371901, 4A0302637, and 8Z0586236.
Ms. Block's present in the courtroom, Your Honor. She can hear you, but she wants to stay seated.
Okay, that's just fine. So we're on for readiness here today. Current trial date, let me just double check it here, set for June 4th at 9 a.m. Just so both the parties are fully aware, we set this knowing that that was the week of judicial conference and the court was going to do everything it could to secure a judge pro tem if that was even acceptable to the parties. The court has not been successful. We have reached out to all of our judge pro tems. We do not have someone who is available that day. So realistically, I don't think that day is going to be possible for the jury trial. With that, we can move forward from here, but Mr. Lackey, would defense like to be heard?
Yeah, I recall that was the situation when that date was set. It's my understanding that there's also an issue with witness availability for the city. I guess I just would be curious. Next available dates, 11th or 18th?
Next available for the court, obviously, we'll have to hear from Mr. Kilfoyle for the city, but the court would be the 18th. We have set aside specifically, I know we have the holiday on the 19th, but we're going to do a jury trial that day regardless. So if it goes into 2 days, it would be a Tuesday, Thursday trial. But that's the next available date. Judge Lev is out through the 11th of June. She's not back until the 12th, so the 18th would be the next available date.
That would be our request then.
All right, Mr. Kilfoyle, would the city like to be heard?
And Your Honor, I'm going to need a second. I can tell the court on the one case, the driving license suspended in the third degree ending in 236. That's the older case. That would be the first in time. That case, that's the one that has the officer unavailability. And my understanding is that officer is going to be unavailable in the end of June and the beginning of July. So at this point, I don't believe the 18th would work.
So Ms. Block's not held on that charge.
So we
She's
have
PR'd, and I am much more concerned about the DUI, reckless endangerment. So that's the
Understood,
one that I think would be going on the 18th.
I'll need just a second to confirm officer availability for the 18th. If the court will give me just a second.
Sure.
Your Honor, I have an officer who's out from June 17th through the 21st, so the 18th wouldn't work. Those dates. And the other date was the 11th. Was that
The 11th is not, Judge Lev's not here on the 11th, so it'd have to be the 25th.
I don't think that's going to be able to work with my officer's availability, unfortunately.
I thought you said he was back the 21st.
Technically, the vacation ends, but if he is off shift, he's going to be out on his days off until that next week. So it wouldn't realistically be until the beginning of July.
Okay, well, Ms. Block's held in custody on this. I'm hesitant to push it out that far. Mr. Lackey, do you have any suggestions or any further information you want to be heard on?
Just that Ms. Block wants, I guess, a trial. She's not willing to waive. She's been in custody this entire time. We're asking for the soonest date possible. if the 18th doesn't work, it doesn't sound like the city's entirely certain about that officer's availability. I'd ask to set it at that date and see where we're at.
Your Honor, I can tell the court that both my officers are available on July 2nd, which is just 1 week later than the 25th. I know with certainty that both my officers would be available on that date.
I'm not available that week.
Okay. I'm just looking here. We have so few options. So 4th and 11th just aren't going to work. Judge Lev just isn't here. Mr. Lackey, let me even ask this just to clarify. If there was a date available when Judge Lev wasn't here, is your client agreeable to a Judge Pro Tem or myself hearing the case?
I would say no.
No? Okay. All right. That does limit us, which is fine. Ms. Block does have the right to have the presiding judge hear it. But that means the 11th won't work. I will be here on the 11th, but we'll skip that. So, okay.
She could also be released with conditions.
Okay. So here's what I think I might want to do. Let's, Mr. Kilfoyle, so I know technically your officer's on vacation the 18th through 21st, whatever that date was. The 25th is a Tuesday, so you're saying they'll be off that whole week?
That's my understanding as to how their vacation schedule works, Your Honor. They butt it up against their time off to extend because that would be their off week due to how their schedules are. That's my understanding, but I can confirm that. If we want to set the date for the 25th, I can reach out to the officer and double check and see if they would actually be back at that point. And then at the next readiness, I can confirm that.
I think for today's purposes, let's set it at that date because Ms. Block is in custody. I want to get this case heard. Obviously, we have to deal with everyone's schedules. But what I will say is if we're pushing this thing out into, mid to late July, the court might consider another bail reduction, but we're not there yet. But right now, we need to get this thing heard. So for today's purposes, the court will make a finding that due to the court's unavailability, the presiding judge is at judicial conference on June 4th and is on vacation on June 11th, a pre-scheduled vacation, that we don't have judicial availability. There is good cause to extend the time for trial. And the next available date where it looks like it will work for everyone is 6/25. So that is the date that we're going to enter today. If there are issues with that, of course, we will address them. But today, 6/25, that would put status hearing the Friday before, which will be 6/21 at 8:30. And then readiness would be 6/10 at 8:30 in the morning.
And Your Honor, I can tell the court right now, I'm going through, I just want to make a record of this. So if this, for whatever reason, does not go on 25th, my officers and myself are available on July 2nd, which is just that week later. I know that's butting up against the 4th of July holiday, but I don't anticipate this would take more than the 2 days of July 2nd and July 3rd at the most. And then once if we have to go beyond that, though, I've got officer unavailability through most of July. I have the two officers, one has time off in June, one has time off in July, and there's that small 2-week window where 1 week is for sure, we're good to go. The other one is the one that I'm going to have to find out more information on. So I just wanted to put that on the record for the court.
Okay. All right, well, I'll go ahead and Mr. Lackey, did you want to be heard any further on those dates today?
I mean, I'm fine with those dates. We just, as you mentioned, we need to get this thing heard. She is in custody. So that's our request. See if we can get this done on the 25th.
All right, those will be the dates then. I did upload a new pretrial conference form just because it has all three of those dates in there. If council would please sign off on that, and then I think that'll take care of it for today's purposes.
I will sign off on that, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I have to strike the jury trial on June 4th because of that unavailability of our presiding judge. So I'm going to do that here today as well.